Today's operation is back in suburban Detroit, Oakland Township to be specific, some 20 miles from the diner where Hoffa was last seen alive. Author Dan Moldea is going to help walk us through all of this. He chronicled numerous crime investigations involving subjects ranging from Bobby Kennedy to O.J. Simpson and Jimmy Hoffa himself. So Dan, who's a tipster behind this latest search for the body of Jimmy Hoffa?
Well, this is a pretty good one. This is his name's Tony Zarelli. Tony Zarelli was the boss of the Detroit Mafia from 1971 to 1974 when he went to jail. Then his elderly father, Joe Zarelli, became the boss of the Detroit Mafia from 1974 to 1977. So he was in place when Jimmy Hoffa disappeared in 1975. And as the boss of the Detroit Mafia, he would have had to check off on the hit. Now, when Joe Zarelli died in 1977, his new underboss, a guy named Jack Tocco, became the boss. And when Tony Zarelli was released from prison in 1979, he became the underboss of Jack Tocco. So these two guys who are cousins are not knuckle draggers. These are guys who are college-educated businessmen. Tony Zarelli shot off his mouth about a hidden ownership the Detroit Mafia had in a Las Vegas casino. It was picked up on a wiretap by the FBI. They prosecuted 16 top guys in the Detroit Mafia. A whole bunch of people went to jail, and everyone blamed Tony Zarelli for it. And so when Tony Zarelli got out of jail during 2008-2009, he was persona non grata. So he was broke. He had no place to go, and so he went to a reporter at NBC. And he said, I want to show you where Jimmy Hoffa's body is. So he took the reporter to this field in Oakland Township. So, of course, everyone started looking at the property records, and the property's in the name of Jack Tocco. So the question is does Tony Zarelli really know something, or is he just trying to get even with Jack Tocco for making a persona non grata in the Detroit underworld?
Well, Dan, that's a really good question. And the thing is Tony Zarelli, is he legit? His lawyer says he is. I want you to listen again, and then we'll talk.
The difference between this and the last digging is this is a man with credibility. This is a man that would be in the know. This is not some random guy who said, oh, I think he's buried there. This was a person intimately involved with some of the players who would be well informed as to where the body would be placed.
What prompted him to come forward now?
What prompted him to come forward? It's just something that he wanted to get done with, that he's dealt with for a long time, and he wanted to share where it was.
Okay, so Dan Moldea, back to you. Given all the tips that investigators get, how do they go really about deciding this one or that one might be worth pursuing?
Well, it depends on the cast of characters. It was a very good book that was done in 2004 by a guy named Charlie Brandt, who did a book about Frank Sheeran. Frank Sheeran had a whole bunch of credibility problems, but he gave a pretty interesting scenario as to what happened. In 2006, there was another dig in Oakland Township, in Milford Township in Wixom, Michigan, at a farm which was once owned by a guy named Roland McMaster. That was also an excellent operation by the FBI. The source was credible. His name was Don Wells. And the cast of characters was right. This one is also a very interesting situation. Listen, when the FBI takes these things seriously, I take these things seriously. And I've been involved in this thing now, 38 years. Yeah. And we would like to see this thing end once and for all. We would like to see this case solved. And I say, go FBI, let's solve this case.
And I'm sure you would like to see it solved because from what I understand from our bookings folks, you're a very busy man today. Everyone wants to talk to Dan Moldea.
Well, I would like to be in Detroit at the Denham Walk, but this is being here at CNN, I appreciate being asked.